Okay, Blizzard, it's time to stop messing with Ellie Shamans like this. If you guys haven't heard, in their most recent build of the beta, Ellie Shamans got a pretty big slap, and that slap was to Lava Surge, our instant cast Lava Burst, which is probably, I bet every Ellie Shaman agrees, that is one of the most fun aspects of Ellie, and the fact that they've increased Lava Burst to be a huge component of our damage is awesome, but now we're getting less of the procs. Sure, we have 2 charges of them because Echo of the Elements, but in reality, that proccing nature is what makes the flavor of Ellie Shaman awesome. And the fact that it's actually doing damage now is great. So in this video, we're going to talk about what has changed, exactly what has changed in terms of percentage. Why is it a big deal? How does it feel? And we've done a lot of testing, and I'll show you the spreadsheet and other things we've done there. Is it statistically accurate? No, but we'll talk more about that as well. And then how can they fix this? Because this seems like a change out of left field. Now, let's first of all review the change. The change was this. They changed and reduced the proc rate of Lava Surge, which is the instant cast. It basically resets the cooldown of Lava Burst and makes it instant cast, which is awesome and very fun. That's probably one of my favorite things about Ellie Shamans is having those instant meatballs. That's why there's a meatball meme about it. The change was reducing that proc rate by 5%. 5% on Resto, 5% on Ellie. And this makes us very sad. Let me be clear. There's currently a ton of people playing Ellie Shaman in the pre-patch. They are like blown away at how awesome it's doing. They have a trade on called Igneous Potential. This increases the proc chance, and overall the proc chance on pre-patch on BFA right now is 18%. That's very high. Well, let's just be clear, like that's high. But once we lose that Azerite trait, we're going to be at 15% proc rate as an Ellie Shaman. And now they're reducing it to 10% proc rate, which is very sad. We're losing not only that Azerite trait benefit, we're also losing that 5% which they just removed from the proc rate. This seems to be like almost misdirected. Like, why would they do this? I'm not really sure. Ellies already have some other issues having to do with their AoE rotation feeling very slow and ramping up and not really doing a whole lot of damage until you get to that ramping up point. But this is kind of ridiculous. I personally know, and we all know now, and you should know if you don't know, check out the pre-patch video I put out, that Ellie is inflated, significantly inflated on the pre-patch. Their Lava Bursts are doing huge amounts of damage. They're proccing like crazy, right? Because of that 18%, but they're also doing huge damage. I'm concerned that Blizzard tuned this with that in mind. I don't think they could be that silly, but I'm like, I don't know why else they would do this. Maybe they think we're getting too many procs, clearly, but I think this is this is not the right move. This is not the play. This is not the play. It's time to stop. It's time to stop. A lot of things have been peeled away from the Ellie Shaman as the beta changes have happened. We started out with Fulmination, Elemental Blast proccing a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of people are saying, yeah, the Ellie Blast thing wasn't intentional, but it was great. We stumbled upon something great. And now with this change, it's kind of like, man, I'm just concerned. Like, why are they doing that? Of all the things they could do. Now, one of the things that, we'll get down to how they could fix this and how they could counteract this missing 5% conduit, but this is making me very sad. And the reason why is because Lava Burst is now a huge part of our damage rotation. It's now our #1 damaging ability. In Mythic Pluses and in PvP, it's also huge. It's not necessarily part of our burst right now. It's, echoing Stormkeepers and such, but you can also echo Lava Burst and do huge damage. So it's actually a huge deal from not only a damage perspective, but a smoothness of play. You would think that 5%, it can't be that much. Oh no, we'll show you the testing numbers. It actually is very noticeable in the beta, and it's almost concerning. And we'll go over some of the numbers here in a second, but man, you can tell and you don't like it, especially because it is contributing the most damage to your DPS, especially in 3 targets, 1 to 3 target fight. AoE is a different ball of wax. We'll talk about that later. So it doesn't feel good at all. It feels like we're missing something. It feels like, it's almost like Enhance. A lot of people are playing Enhance and they get to an open global. And now what we find ourselves doing is spamming Lightning Bolt, where it's not doing much. Where before we were getting these Lava Burst procs and you're able to weave these into Ice Fury more. That's how you're able to get Master of the Elements rolling. That's the impact. We're going to have less Master of the Elements. We're going to have less weaving ability with Ice Fury and other factors with Earth Shocks. And overall, that's a huge DPS decrease, not only through less Lava Burst, but less increased damage procs. It's not good. And I really hope that Blizzard considers going the other way on this or putting in something to counteract it. And I don't want a tier set to do that, please. That would be not the right option. Taking things out to give them back later as a gift is not nice. So let's go ahead and talk about what does this mean? What does it look like? Well, let's go ahead and I'll show you the numbers. Basically what I did is I took 10 samples, right? And that's not statistically significant. I know, I know, law of big numbers, all this stuff. You guys out there, I get it. But I'm just showing you just a little bit of a taste from my experience. I took 10 times, I took one target at first. I put Flame Shock up on the target, I let it totally expire, and how many procs did I get? Well, what I saw was that on pre-patch, which is at 15% proc rate, the first time I got 1 proc, the second time I got 2 procs, okay. For 1 Flame Shock, I got 2 procs, okay. I got 1, I got 2, I got 2, I got 1, I got 1. Overall, over 10, I got 15 total procs, putting out 10 Flame Shocks. So that's pretty good, and the average is a little bit leaning towards 1, but I got a proc out. Now, on the beta, at 10%, when I had 12% haste, and the dot is ticking about 11 times, because based on your haste, I know that will have a factor here, I only got 1 proc every time. I never got a special one. I didn't get a special one. I just got 1 proc every time, and one time I got 0 procs. I got 0 procs by putting up Flame Shock. That was the most depressing Flame Shock of my existence. I will tell you that much. So we're really not hyped about that. I did that with 1 target. And then I said to myself, well, you could just multiply this out and you could see what it would be for 2 targets, 3 targets. No. Let's try it. So we tried it. We compared it pre-patch to beta. And what we saw, pre-patch, if you have 2 Flame Shocks out and you might be thinking in a PvP situation or a funneling situation in PvE, I mean, I don't know what to say. You're getting a big change, a big variance here of what is coming out. You can see on pre-patch, I got 4 procs from the 2 Flame Shocks. And yeah, you have like one that lasts, for 6 seconds until the cooldown comes up. So the second Flame Shock goes alone for 6 seconds. We understand that, right? First 2 that I got out, 4 procs. Nice. On beta, first one I got 1 proc. You're using your global on Flame Shock. Your Flame Shock is supposed to be utility, not just rot damage in my mind. It's supposed to give you those flares of excitement and playstyle. You can see here through the pre-patch, I got between 3 to 4, and I even got a 5 proc using 2 Flame Shocks. Very fun. I loved it. It's making me on my feet, making me on my toes. I can filter a lot of abilities through there. It's also making me not have to cast and get more Maelstrom generation. Forgot to mention that. Now, in the beta, I was getting between 1 and 2. What the heck, man? And then up to 3 in 1 situation. Overall, I got double the number of procs. Once again. So again, with 1 target, it was 9 on beta, 15 on live. On 2 targets, I got 34 procs. And I got total across 10, and then I got 16. So almost double the procs across that many times. And really, I probably should be taking average. But the average would be somewhere around 2 for beta and like 3, high 3s for pre-patch. And then I did it on 3 targets. 3 targets, you could see again some different variation. It spanned from on the pre-patch, it spanned from getting 4 procs minimum 4 to 7. That is awesome. That's if I dot 3 targets, like if you think in an arena match, that's really the max number of Flame Shocks you can have out at a time without using Flame Alley and other things. I'm getting up to 7 procs, dude. That is super duper fun. I'm throwing those meatballs everywhere. That's the playstyle we want, and it's a good thing that those meatballs do damage. But on the beta, I got between 2 and 4 usually. I got a few 5 lucky ones. But dude, that is bad. That is very sad. And again, it goes to the fact of the proc rate. Proc rate being 5% less might not sound a lot, but when you think about the playstyle of that, it is very sad. And again, I do not like this change at all. I really think that Blizzard should either revert it or make a conduit, and we'll get into what we can do about this now. Number 1, we need your help. We need your help. We need your voice. Because already, Flame Shock's on a cooldown. People are not happy about that. Now you reduce the proc rate. I already saw Smexton and some other of my buddies, Piff and people, saying this is very sad. I want you guys to do me a favor. Put a post on the forums or like the post that I'm going to put up. I'll put a link down in the description when I have it up there. And make it known that this is not a good news from a LA Shaman perspective. We have other problems as well. But this is sad, especially for the LA PvPers out there. The fact that we're going to have less procs means we're going to have to stand and cast more, which makes us have less value as an LA Shaman. We're made to be mobile. We're made to be running and gunning. We do have Spirit Walker's Grace, sure, but when we are out of Lava Burst as often as we are now, it does not make for a good playstyle. I'm really concerned about this change. I personally think that Flame Shock should have either another charge as well or be on a reduced cooldown. But in reality, that is like now second to this. This is a bigger deal. Because even if I put out Flame Shocks, imagine they took off the Flame Shock cooldown. They took that off. And now you have like 6 Flame Shocks out there. You're going to get 6 procs max versus what it was. With what it was, and by the way, when I was doing testing on pre-patch, I took off Igneous Potential. So I was only using 15%, not 18%. I know someone's going to point that out. So I was, dude, so much more fun, man. It is so much more, infinitely more fun. So I wanted to point this out. I think the way they can fix it is Conduit. They can make a Conduit counteract this with maybe even give us back to 8% because that's what the proc rate is in pre-patch with the Igneous Potential. They could make a Legendary have this increased proc. They could make a PvP talent that could reduce the cooldown of Flame Shock and also make its proc rate for Lava Surge more. Or they could do a tier set, but I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. So I think those are really the tools in the tool chest that they could do, or they revert this change. I personally think that they need to scale this back. I think if you want to reduce it a little bit, but not 5%. That's a third of the proc rate that was, previously. And I think I just really think I needed to make this video because I think it's really important, especially with a lot of people getting excited about LA Shamans. This is not good. This one's not good, especially for PvP. And I wanted to make this just as like a little sad video. But Blizzard, I hope you see this and I hope you consider counteracting this with upping the proc rate back to 15, making a Conduit, making a Legendary effect, something like that we really need to see. And while you're at it, go ahead and remove the cooldown, if you don't mind. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for the love. Thanks for the support. Again, be vocal about this one. This is a big change. We also need to be vocal about Ellie's AoE ability in Mythic Plus, feeling very slow compared to a lot of other classes. We'll do a separate video on that. But I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank the Patreons. I want to thank the Twitch subs. Thank you guys so much. We have the monthly sticker going out as it's the last day of the month. Some beta keys giveaways going on down below in the description. Thanks, guys, so much. Let your local Blizzard official know. Okay? We'll see you in the next one or on stream. Catch you later, guys. Bye.